I would have liked to have seen how the relationship grew over time. But anyhow, yeah, my yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah,
asking.
character development is critical in Happy Gilmore.
And welcome back, everybody, to another action-packed episode of the TV show. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by the soon-to-be watching tennis, Ria Hughes, and the down the shore and somewhat pixelated Angelo Cataldi. How are you guys?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I hope you can maintain that mood as we talk through, Angelo, our first topic today, which is suggested to us by super fan of the show, Keith Hughes. He writes into us all the time. And Keith, please keep on
No
writing.
relation. No
No,
relation, I
no
think.
relation. It's spelled differently, I believe. I'm not
Okay.
sure. But Keith, if you keep on writing in, we appreciate it. However, after last week's show, Keith was very shocked that we didn't talk about what was probably the number one thing on television of the whole summer, which was Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. And the reason why we didn't talk about it was simple. None of us were that interested in watching it. Uh, and it sort of led to a discussion behind the scenes, Angela. You're nodding your head, and that's the first thing I want to talk about before we talk to about Happy Gilmore. Is this is a show we are critics, Angelo, for better or for worse. And I do wonder, part of I think the appeal of the show is that we talk about the stuff that we like. Rhea talks about British shows. I'll talk about Billy Joel at length. You'll talk about Wentworth at least once a month. And those are our particular personality quirks and the stuff that we like. But Angela, do we have an obligation to serve our audience by watching not just what we like but what's popular?
I'm glad you brought up Wentworth. It is back available now on the Roku channel. I know lots of people are worried about that. This is a great philosophical question. Ria still deals with it now. Ria and I dealt with it. If it's a topic you don't care about, but your audience does, you need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't talk about it last week because it had just come out at that point, and I was trying to avoid it the way you would like a trip to the dentist, because I had seen the first Happy Gilmore, and it was in a whole period in Adam Sandler's career where all he did was these stupid, goofy, weird little shows that got great, the Water Boy, those guys that got great viewership. But Rhea and I know this. You have to talk about it. So when we saw it, this Keith Hughes guy, he kind of pantsed us. And it was like, well, yeah, we have no choice now. We must tackle this a TV phenomenon. So I believe we all did watch it, right, Jay?
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing about Angela, what you said. You would sometimes say, no one's interested in this. And we would start the show on a different topic. And all 10 calls on the board would want to talk about the thing we said nobody was interested in it. Your viewers and your listeners will tell you.
They will, and you have to react. You can't be above it. They're the ones who decide what you should be doing. So, yeah, we all jumped in the deep end on this one, I think.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And I am going to guess Ria and I are more kind to this than you, Angelo. I could be wrong, but that's my guess. What were your thoughts on this?
No, I want to hear yours first, both of yours, because if you're going to try to, in some way, polish this turd, I need to see how you're going to do it. All right,
Would
so
you
you
like
guys
me to start?
Yes,
Right.
Yes, go right ahead there.
Now, here's what I will tell you. Much like Keith, I was surprised that Happy Gilmore 2 wasn't on the rundown sheet. I assumed it would be because it was, it was all the stuff. And I did watch it. And I've watched about an hour and 15 minutes of it because Clark wanted to watch it. We had both loved Happy Gilmore, the original. So we watched the first hour. We haven't finished it yet because we've been a little busy, but I will tell you, I found it okay. There were a couple moments I laughed out loud. Bad Bunny as the caddy is very funny. I think he's very good. The cameos by all the stars of Goff. Goff, that's the whole thing of Happy Gilmore. is he was upending the golf world of this staid, sport. And he couldn't get any golfers outside of Lee. Is it Lee Trevino who's in the first one? The second one, they all wanted to be in it. Scotty Scheffler,
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy. Clark, though, this is aimed at a teenager.
Yeah.
Clark laughed out loud. He thinks it's an absolute right. I laughed a couple times, but I will say this. When you start off by killing a really popular character in the beginning of a movie, I don't really think that's a great way to start out.
Yeah, especially
You're right.
considering, like, Julie Bowen was a cutie pie in the original movie, but she has gone on to be a TV fixture. I mean, this is the mom from Modern Family. I was surprised that they made that decision. I mean, I would have liked to have seen how the relationship grew over time. But anyhow, yeah, I know. I'm asking.
Character development is critical in Happy Gilmore.
I'm also the guy that says, but why is she sleeping with the pizza man when I'm watching pornography? I know, how does this relationship work? So, I believe I was of the right age to enjoy Happy Gilmore when it came out originally in the 90s. Right. I was either a teenager or just left being a teenager when it came out. The fight with Bob Barker was a delight of my childhood.
Yes.
How do you not love that? So I think that I was fueled, like a lot of people, Angelo, on nostalgia. And, I'll say this. This is a movie that I think is the culmination of Adam Sandler's approach to Hollywood of the last, 4 decades, which is he has just collected all of these people. I think there was something like 60 cameos in this movie.
Yes.
And you can tell that they all love him. He loves all of these people. And, that's it was less a movie than it was a home movie of Adam Sandler hanging out on set with these famous people. Yeah. And I don't mind that. You know what I mean? Like, call me crazy. I don't mind sitting with famous people, making each other laugh. And I'll tell you what, John Daly legitimately made me laugh. He was fantastic. Yes. He kept getting all the numbers wrong. 330,000. It's 300, John. Well, if you can get a discount, go for it. I mean, it's a throwback to dumb 80s and 90s comedy. And I'll be frank, I laughed a couple of times. I did. I'm sorry. I enjoyed it.
I honestly think that John Daly has to be nominated for an Emmy. It was brilliant. So brilliant on that. I watched it. It took me 3 different times to make it all the way through, but I made a commitment that I needed to see the whole thing. And in the third of the 3 watches, when I was getting to the very end, finally, it started to occur to me that something extraordinary was happening. That I said to myself, I think I'm watching the worst movie ever made. It was so bad. Like you mentioned, the cameos by the golfers. Yeah, those would have been fine if they were cameos. But these guys had speaking parts.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, the Woods and their golf bag had more movement than they did.
You are correct.
They were so bad, all right? That's what made me think of Tommy Wiseau, all right? Tommy Wiseau is widely regarded as the maker of the worst movie ever. It's called The Room. And it was a vanity project. He got money. He funded the whole thing. It's atrocious. You can watch it if you want to buy it on Prime, right? It's like $3 or $4. His acting, the golfers reminded me of Tommy Wiseau. And I began to say, no one spent more money, brought in more talent, more big names. And it all amounted to nothing. It was garbage. It was so bad. Predictable. It was witless. It was a lazy money grab. And please keep in mind, I have reviewed very highly the last couple of Adam Sandler projects. The thing he did where he was Philadelphia, remember? Ria,
oh,
that
you
one?
loved that. Yeah. Hustle.
I loved it. The other one, Uncut Gems, he was fantastic in. This is a big stealing a steaming pile of poop. All right. This is, and that's why I want to turn this into something. But since this guy, Keith Hughes, called us on it correctly, name me a movie worse than either Happy Gilmore 2 or The Room. All right. Name
Blind
me
Date.
the worst movie you ever see. Blind Date. What's that, Rhea?
That was like 40 years ago, I think, with
Bruce
Bruce Willis.
and
Yeah, it's
Kim Basinger.
it's the only movie I have ever
Yeah.
walked out of.
Yeah,
Oh
Blind
wait,
Date.
no, only movie I ever walked out of until Silver Linings Playbook.
All right, that's your agenda. Keep that out of it. Rhea, here's what you're saying now. You're saying that Happy Gilmore 2 is better than Blind Date.
Well, I haven't finished it, so I'm an hour and 15 minutes in. If I don't go back to it, then probably you're
No,
right.
you have to go back.
So
the law says you must finish that movie because it just gets worse. Oh my God.
Angela,
The scene in the graveyard with Bob Barker's gravestone, and it was so freaking awful.
Angela, the great Roger Ebert once said that you judge a movie based on how well it accomplishes its goals. You don't compare it to other movies. And here's the thing. I love the Three Stooges. I will watch a Three Stooges short and laugh out loud the entire time. That's not great cinema. Nobody is saying Moke, Larry, and Curly, belong on the AFI 100 best movies list. I look at Happy Gilmore 2 the same way I look at the Three Stooges. That when he's practicing golf with Eric Andre the first time, and he hits the ball and it hits his head and he curses, it's dumb. But tell me you didn't just chuckle, just a touch, just a
No,
titch.
I groaned.
You groaned? Come on, Angelo.
I'll tell you something else. I'm offended by you asking if this movie shows that that comedies in the movie theaters are dead.
Right.
This is not even a freaking comedy. Show me if we're going to announce the death of comedy in movie theaters, let's do it with an actual comedy. This thing is gone.
But it was a streamer. It wasn't in the movie theater.
Right. We'll talk about that. Yeah, I think
it's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. Oh, it's so bad.
All right. Well, let's talk about something that is, in my opinion, even worse for the landscape of television. Ria, you are still knee deep in the sports journalist world. And I just got to ask, if you guys haven't seen this, ESPN and NFL, they actually announced this morning that the deal's happening. Now, whether or not it goes through with the government, we got to wait and see. But essentially, it's this. ESPN is acquiring all of the NFL networks. In exchange, the NFL is getting 10% equity in ESPN. Now, this is important for ESPN. They are launching for the first time a standalone subscription service for, it looks like, about $30 a month. And certainly having the Red Zone, extra NFL games, and access to all the NFL networks will sweeten that package. But Rhea, they cover the NFL.
Yeah.
They are journalists who cover the NFL, and now the NFL owns 10% of them. Is this a disaster for TV coverage, or is just this the landscape that we live in now because of capitalism?
Well, just to let you know, the NFL had a massive story going on for about the last year in which they hid collusion between them and with signing players. And it took a former ESPN guy, I believe it's Pablo Torres, and Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. All the reporters who work for ESPN never touched the story, okay, until it was already broken by somebody else. Like they didn't know. This has been going on for a while. Listen, the NFL flexed their muscle with ESPN 20 years ago when it came to players. So, if the NFL doesn't want them to cover something, it is odd now that they're an equity partner. Here's my only concern. If they mess with the red zone, I will freak out. The red zone is one of the most innovative, beautiful things ever done for TV. And if they screw with red zone by putting commercials in, I will lose my mind.
Angelo, I'm sure you former print journalist. I mean, if the Eagles had owned the Inquirer, how could you report on them? How is it possible?
Yeah, well, we had our own situation where we were the flagship station of the Eagles, and there was a lot of behind the scenes, tug of war.
Yeah.
What can you say? What can't you say? And I went, I'm paid for my opinion. I'm going to say whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
And they try to push back at times, but we won that battle. We had an ownership that cared. This is no. First of all, though, I mean, that would suggest that ESPN has been really hard hitting in their investigation of the NFL before this. So I don't think it's going to have that bigger. Rhea nailed it. Rhea nailed it. This comes down to one thing. The most beautiful thing on TV is the Red Zone channel. It's beautiful. And I already know, Rhea, that we're in trouble. I don't even know if you know this story.
What?
Scott Hansen, who is the brains of that brilliant operation. 7 hours, commercial-free TV, all football games all the time. He almost left. He was in a really, really tight negotiation. And he said after he resigned that he almost walked away because he had other opportunities. Yeah. And I'm going, you know what? ESPN was involved in that negotiation. They knew they were about to buy in. ESPN, ladies and gentlemen, will screw up anything it touches. It is the worldwide leader in screwing up, all right? They take every sports event and screw it up. And I guarantee you, Ria, as soon as they take ownership, you're going to see all sorts of commercials on the Red Zone channel. Yeah. I know they narrow the screen a little. You know where this is going. When ESPN touches something, it turns to garbage. It turns to Happy Gilmore II. And this is a terrible thing. It's bad for journalism, although journalism nowadays is not what it was, so don't worry about that so much. But ESPN, the minute, Colleen Wolfe, Ria, our favorite intern of all time, an NFL Network star, will now be working for ESPN.
Yeah, I worry about that. Because they're going to streamline. They're going to look, the NFL Network and ESPN are going to go, what roles do we have that are redundant? And then those people will go away.
Although I will say this.
One more thing, Jay.
Yeah.
Jay, how long before they try to stick Chris Berman back in there or one of these other relics that they keep around?
Back.
Oh, no, it'll be Pat McAfee.
Worse.
It'll be his blonde spiky hair is going to show up on there. All that said, for someone who's a cord cutter, $30 a month to get the Red Zone during the football season, that's compelling. That is a compelling idea. Even a screwed up version, because I don't get the NFL like you guys do. I would love to be able to watch it all. All right, so Angelo, we touched on this in the last segment. The Naked Gun reboot debuted last weekend, and this is starring Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson, who have started an on-set romance. If you've seen that,
love it.
I think most of us do. It is a known intellectual property. It cost them $41 million to make. It got wonderful reviews both from the audience and from the critics, and it kind of flopped. Came in at about $17 million this past weekend, which means that at best it'll make its money back. It won't make a profit. There have only been 2 comedies that will have made over $40 million so far this year. The first one was called One of Them Days, which was a comedy that came out earlier in the year that made about $51 million. This will make about $40 million probably. Angelo, why is the movie comedy dead? Why don't people want to go to a theater and laugh with their friends anymore?
I don't think it's dead. And so I'm trying to figure this out because I remember the original Naked Gun. And over last weekend, Jay, I decided, I love going to the movies. I'll go see this. I'm down the shore. It's not down here. Do you understand?
Right.
Yes, Liam Neeson and Pam Anderson went on and did some interviews and stuff. Have you seen any advertising for it? Has there been any push for it?
Online on Twitter. They overloaded it on Twitter.
TikTok too.
All right, well, Look, I think they trained us during the pandemic to expect that kind of programming on at home. They expected us to buy it at home and watch it there. There's still a place for it. A comedy works best. Who am I telling? Jay Black, a great stand-up comic. Comedy works best when you're laughing with other people around you. I don't think it's that. I think there has to be a new commitment to it, which requires major promotion in every venue to get people to see it, and then the availability of it. If all you could see, there's 5 theaters just in Stone Harbor, right near where I am, and all of them have cartoon movies, Marvel movies, Fantastic Four, all that crap. And there's no opportunity for this audience, us, to watch that unless you drive 35 miles to an art house. And, that's got to change, or comedy is dead. They have to give us a chance to see it. I would have gone and see it if I could.
Rhea, did Clark have any interest in it?
No, but I don't think he's seen any of the premieres. But here, I did a little digging on this, Jay, and I read a story in Vulture, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Love Vulture.
Yeah, well, they actually said it met their projections. Like you said, they only made it for 42 million.
Yeah.
And what they expect, it's something called a multiple premiere or multiple hits. They expect the word of mouth, and that it's kind of doesn't have a lot of competition late in the summer, that it's going to be one of those ones. I think they likened it to maybe The Hangover. The Hangover didn't hit hard in the beginning, and word of mouth. So they think that they have a sleeper hit on their hands, that when people start to go, no, it's really funny, you got to go see it, it's a great movie, they're not disappointed in the numbers because they say it's exactly what their projections were.
Well, that would be wonderful, because I was thinking about, like, I said this in the rundown. I think about watching the hair gel scene in There's Something About Mary in a packed theater where you couldn't, like, the theater was shaking. People were laughing so hard during that scene. I miss that. I miss going to a packed theater. And I guess it's during COVID. You don't want to laugh. All the germs came out of you when you laughed. So it's better to watch a movie with your mask on. But I miss those days, man. I love comedy in a theater.
Jay, I hate to go back to our first topic, but There's Something About Mary was maybe the best performance by Ben Stiller, right?
Great. Yeah. He
was hilarious in that. The hair gel scene was maybe his greatest moment, right? In all movies. He's also in Happy Gilmore II.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Hollywood.
Enjoy him in that? Did you enjoy him in that characterization? How did you enjoy that? Did they really not take Ben Stiller and ruin him in that movie?
Well, I mean, he was in the original Happy Gilmore. He's playing the same role.
Awful.
They didn't really expand on his character much, but
no character development, Jay.
No character development. Why are
Worst
these cheerleaders
ever? Worst movie in history. Happy Gilmore II.
All right. Well, you know what, Angelo? We need a little positivity in our life, and there's nothing better than a ray of sunshine reflected off some beautiful jewelry. So tell me about our great sponsor, Steven Singer.
Well, we were just talking about ESPN. And I'm just going to say it straight. They don't know how to run their own business. The ESPN does not know how to connect with their viewers. The only reason ESPN is so successful and has been for so long is there's no competition. There's no other sports service like that can actually try to compete with them. And the thing about Steven Singer is he doesn't make that mistake. He knows what his customers need, and he presents it. It's like the beginning of our show where we were told our customers want us to talk about the worst movie ever made. So we talked about Happy Gilmore. He knows, Jay Black, look at his face. He has no idea about jewelry, but he's got to buy something for his wife because he did something stupid last night.
Always.
All he's got to do is go to the other corner of the walnut and present his situation in front of Steven or one of the people there, and they will find exactly the thing that he needs, and they will charge him a fair price for it, and he will be in the clear. Steven Singer knows how to run his business better than anyone I ever saw in any business.
I was actually on Steven's website on Sunday night because I lost my rings on Saturday. Somehow they just disappeared, and I was freaking out. And I'm so used to having my rings on my hand. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go buy new. And like I was distraught. And then I realized I should check the trash. So I checked the trash, dumped it all out in the backyard, and I had thrown my rings in the trash. So the rings are safe, but but there are some beautiful rings on I Hate Steven Singer, and I was checking them out. But luckily I found my rings. So good.
That's great. He's the best. I hate
Yes.
StevenSinger.com. Check him out. The other corner bait the walnut.
And we very much appreciate his continued sponsorship of the show so we can bring you great things like Ria Hughes' British segment, which she brings us every single week. What do you got for us this week, Ria?
So I had this thing called Our Zoo. It's 6 episodes on BritBox. It's about the Lee Ingleby, who's a pretty well-known British actor. He actually had a role in Master and Commander. You would recognize him from there. He plays George Mottershead, 1930. So it's a period piece in London where he's a war veteran dealing with some ongoing trauma. Somehow, and he's married, he's got a teenage daughter, he's got a real young daughter, maybe around 6, literally looks exactly like Shirley Temple. And they live with his parents over the produce shop. And he somehow acquires a monkey and a parrot. And then he happens upon this old abandoned mansion that's going up for auction. And he decides that he wants to open a zoo without bars. This is in 1930. We're talking with exotic animals like tigers and elephants. And so he gets this abandoned mansion with a lot of acres. And the town of Upton is not pleased at all. It's going through that. I'm 3 episodes in. Here's what I will say. It's as the British like to say, lovely. It's a lovely, charming story. And the cool thing about it, which I didn't realize, it's based on an absolutely true story of the Chester Zoo. Was started by George Mottershead in 1930. It is now one of the UK's largest zoos. About 10 years ago, Forbes magazine described it as one of the best 15 zoos in the world. 2 million visitors last year. And it was started by a war veteran to try to help with his trauma. And it's a really great story, great acting in it. The family is kind of loopy, but I like it a lot. So it's called Our Zoo, 6 episodes on BritBox.
That's great. I love a story that does, like, usually you have a war story and it's a very depressing, sad thing. And this one just sounds like it's beautiful. I like that very much. Speaking of beauty, Angelo Cataldi. What do you got for us this week?
I want to say something, first of all, that oftentimes you will hear over the 3 years we've been doing this podcast that I will follow up on one of Ria's reviews, and then I will commend her for how great her recommendation was. This seems like I'm biased. It is not. If there's ever a time when I actually agree with something Jay recommends, I plan to be the same way. But Ria said to check out Department Q, which is a British show on Netflix. And my wife and I started watching it. Gail and I started watching it the other night. And not only was Ria 100% right, in the middle of the first episode, I'm watching, I'm going, this is really good. I got to text her. And she goes, yeah. And she repeats her review to me in the text. And she goes, the only part where the woman's in the submarine, right? Like, that's completely useless. So now I'm watching it again. And you're 100% right. They didn't need any of the woman stuck in the submarine.
Fast forwarding through it. It was the only bad part of the show.
But the rest of it was the detective work and all that was great.
Yes.
But the woman you're 100%. Ria Hughes is a great reviewer. That's what I'm trying to say to you. And someday there's a chance Jay will be too. I don't know when that is.
Tell me you didn't watch those Billy Joel documentaries, Angelo. Come on, 5 hours of Billy Joel. I was right.
I couldn't do it. He hasn't written a new song in 33 years. I got to watch his. No.
That's a fair point. Fair point.
But I did find something great during a very dry time. Again, it's in the documentary genre, but it's great. It's not good. It's great. It's called Mr. and Mrs. Murder, and it's on Hulu. And it is one of the strangest and most bizarre stories with the craziest ending I've ever seen. 4 episodes. It's about these two couples who grew up together. It's for two guys, two women. They ended up marrying, and then one of them started canoodling with the wife of the other one, and then suddenly one of them disappeared. That's the basic premise of it. That's a good premise right there. And it's in the swampland, and it's spooky, it's weird, and then strange things happen. And I read about it afterwards. Every single part of it is exactly as it happened. They didn't change anything. It's exact. Mr. and Mrs. Murder on Hulu is a great crime documentary with an ending that will bother you the way it's bothered me for the last 4 days. You will look at the ending and go, well, that isn't justice. How did that happen? You will love this. I guarantee you, Mr. and Mrs. Murder on Hulu.
All right, very nice. And my review was of Happy Gilmore, which I said earlier was a movie that set out to do what it wanted to do and did it pretty well. If you come in expecting
B plus?
I'm going to give it a C plus, Angelo. It's a C plus. It is not a good movie. It is an okay movie that is filled with your old friends. It's like going to a bad diner with your old friends. You might not necessarily enjoy the meal, but you will enjoy the company. And I think that's what the Adam Sandler comedy has morphed into, a group of 70 or so celebrities that all love Adam and show up and support him, which I like spending time in that world. So it isn't bad. Don't listen to this grumpus over here, Angelo Cataldi. Go watch it. And I'll tell you what, Keith, and everybody else who writes in, we all read all of your texts. What did you think of Happy Gilmore? I know you watched it. Everybody watched it. Send it in. Is Angelo right, or is Ria and I right that this is not a great movie, but not the worst movie of all time, as Angelo has characterized it?
Well, no. Let's make that part of it too. Name us the worst movie you've ever seen. And I personally, since I have nothing else going on in my life, I'll watch it and tell you what I think. Because I actually love terrible movies. Happy Gilmore is so terrible that it goes past the so good it's terrible back to just awful, terrible, horrible. Worst movie I've ever seen. Right, Angela, you can see either of the Gilmore movies, one or two, are both available on Netflix. You mentioned the Billy Joel documentary. That's on HBO Max if you want to check that out. And the worst movie in history is The Room, and that is available on Amazon Prime. If you want to see The Naked Gun, it is in theaters, but not any near me. I'm looking forward to it when I see it. I know it'll be great. Liam Neeson and P.M. Anderson. And, the fact there's a little romance, that promotes it, too. You want to see the spark on the screen, right? Our Zoo is available on BritBox, and if Ria says it's good, it's good.
Very charming.
Q is on Netflix, exactly as Ria reviewed it. She's 100% right. And Mr. and Mrs. Murder, available on Hulu.
That man right there is Angelo Cataldi. You can buy his book Loud on Amazon.com, Audible.com, or you can go straight to the source, AngeloCataldi.com. Ria Hughes is sitting right over there. She can be seen every single morning on the WIP Morning Show if you go to YouTube. And most of you, I know, download this podcast on Wednesday night or Thursday morning. If you are in the New Jersey area and you're looking for something to do, Thursday night, I will be at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick. Come and see if my hair is really this messy in real life. Yeah, the answer is it is. Yes. We thank you so much for tuning in every single week. We will be back next week. Special thanks to our producer, Jared Clapper, and our great, great sponsor, Steven Singer. Thank you, guys.